Welcome back to another diagram drawing episode. Today we're going to look at another very interesting diagram, and that is the diagram illustrating first degree price discrimination. Now, in the previous episode, we looked at diagrams illustrating third degree price discrimination. So, what is the difference between first degree price discrimination and third degree price discrimination? So, first, a short recap. First degree price discrimination, unlike third degree price discrimination, refers to the fact that under first degree price discrimination, firms can charge or are charging the maximum price that each customer is willing and able to pay for each additional unit bought for reasons not associated with cost. So the main differences between third degree and first degree price discrimination is that for third degree price discrimination, the firm is discriminating between different groups of consumers. So in the previous episode, we looked at movie tickets, whereby movie ticket prices paid by adults versus students are vastly different. But in first degree price discrimination, the firm is discriminating between every single person. Every single person is being charged a different price, and this price is actually the maximum price that person is willing and able to pay. So actually, first degree price discrimination is a very unrealistic, highly theoretical model because it actually requires the firm to have perfect information about the maximum price that customer is willing and able to pay, which in reality, most firms do not have such information. Okay, but regardless, let's look at how we illustrate first degree price discrimination in a diagram. In first degree price discrimination, the usual diagram will look quite different. In the usual diagram, we have your demand equals AR curve, we have your MR curve, and we have an MC curve with the profit maximizing quantity and price illustrated as you see on the screen. But remember that in first degree price discrimination, every single person is being charged the maximum price that he or she is willing to pay, which means that the additional revenue that the firm gets from selling an additional unit of good is actually the maximum price that that person is willing to pay, right? Which means that the marginal revenue is the same as the demand curve. So I repeat, the additional revenue, which is the marginal revenue that the firm receives from selling one more unit of good, is the maximum price that the consumer is willing to pay. Now, since the demand curve represents that maximum price, your demand curve and your MR curve will be the same under first degree price discrimination. This is what is unique about the first degree price discrimination diagram. Okay, so now that we've established that actually the MR curve is the same as your demand curve, this means that profit maximizing quantity for a first degree price discriminating firm will be at this point. Okay, and the price charged, there is no single price charged because we are talking about first degree price discrimination, whereby everybody is being charged a different price. Everybody is being charged the maximum price that they're willing and able to pay. So what this means is that for a customer that purchases the one unit of good, he will be charged a maximum price of 10 as reflected by the demand curve. And the revenue that is earned by the firm as a result of selling this first unit will be 10 multiplied by 1, which is 10. Okay? For the selling the additional second unit, the customer will be charged a maximum price of $9 for the second unit bought. So what this means is that the additional revenue that is earned by the firm will again be the area under the curve, which is given by the blue strip. And if we go on, for the third unit bought, the consumer will again be charged his maximum price that he's willing and able to pay, which is $8 for the third unit. And the additional revenue that the firm gets is again this shaded area underneath the demand curve. Now, if we extrapolate the analysis all the way until the profit maximizing quantity of Q, what it means is that the total revenue that is received by the firm is essentially this entire area all the way to Q. Okay? Now, if we draw in an AC curve that looks like this, how do we know what is the total cost incurred by this firm? So at this profit maximizing quantity of Q, we find out what is the average cost that's incurred. And the average cost that's incurred is given by AC. So what this means is that the total cost that's incurred is actually given by this pink area. Now, if we compare the total revenue with the total cost, I think it's pretty clear that the total revenue exceeds total cost, because if we take the common area, the common overlapping area away, the remaining blue area is actually much larger as compared to the remaining pink area. So for a first degree price discriminating firm, this firm will be producing this good because this firm still can make some profits from producing this good. Now, what happens if this firm is not able to engage in first degree price discrimination and the AC the AC curve still remains as high as you see in the diagram? Now, if this firm is not engaging in first degree price discrimination, what this means is that, again, its average cost that's incurred for producing every single unit is given by AC. The total revenue is given by the blue area. The total cost is given by the pink area. So now you see that if the firm is not able to engage in first degree price discrimination, for the production of this good, you will actually be incurring a subnormal profit or a loss given by the pink area. So in other words, if the firm is not able to engage in first degree price discrimination, this firm will not be producing this good, because when it produces this good, it's going to incur a subnormal profit. So when do we use the diagrams that I've talked about in this video? You use the diagram illustrating first degree price discrimination when you're trying to show that first degree price discrimination has its costs, meaning that because the firm is able to charge the maximum price that consumers are willing and able to pay, this essentially means that consumers have no consumer surplus. Okay? And you use these diagrams when you're trying to show that first degree price discrimination also has its benefits, in the sense that it allows for a good to be produced, especially when this good would otherwise not have been produced if the cost of production is prohibitively too high. Okay, thank you for watching this video, and I'll see you in the next video.